Hey everyone, Alice back again with the final part of episode 2 of Ace Attorney Investigations. In the last video we discovered a lot of evidence in the cargo hold of the plane with the help of Detective Gumshoe and Franziska von Karma. Next up, it looks like we're going to be interviewing Miss Meal. She's the sleepy flight attendant. If you haven't seen the previous parts, take a look at the link playlist in the description. But otherwise, let's go. Here she is, looking as sleepy as ever. Miss Meal. I think she's faking, right? She's got to be. She's trying to throw off suspicion. I see through it. Miss Meal. Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Zhengfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we had a touchdown in Zhengfa. Oh? Miss Cammy Meal. Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did? No one could make a mistake so large, Miss Meal. But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. Ugh. This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well. Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 AM and 6 AM when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes. Yes, you are. Okay, Ms. Meal's alibi. Oh, going straight into it. Okay. Yeah. From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was, in the flight attendant's room all by my lonesome self. Did she just repeat the same thing? How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! Ah! She fell asleep again. Does she have narcolepsy? She needs to see a doctor. Looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. What a weird testimony. Okay, we're not going to press this. Yeah, she did. She just repeated the same thing, but for a different time. Let's press...
Hold it!
If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class and the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4 AM. Yeah, but that kind of stuff's run by Miss Rhoda. Then what were you doing in the attendance room at that time? Eating and then having a most delicious dream. You mean you were neglecting your duties? No way. Sleeping's part of our job too, you know. Is it? Okay, let's press her on this one.
Hold it!
So, you were alone the entire time, were you? Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi. Oh, well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. A good one, Edgeworth. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Well, hold your horses. Let me just check my let me just check my evidence organizer. Maybe it's is it that they... Oh no, this one. Was it that they were doing the refueling and stuff during that time? Yeah, what do we got to lose, except a little bit of health? Miss Meal, there is a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony. Huh? What are you talking about? It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m. Oh, uh-oh. Burden's on me, I suppose. Oh, this. Right, of course. So, Miss Tornado bought the this hideous suitcase from the gift shop at 5:40 and then left it in the attendance room. So she would have gone in, wouldn't she, to put it in there?
Take that!
Yeah. I wonder if you would be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal. Huh? A receipt? For what? It's for the suitcase Miss Tornado bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp. As you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Tornado. Wait, wasn't she arrested and taken to the station? How is she here? Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now. I requested that she be present as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Oh, okay. I should have been a bit more patient. Sorry. Now then, Miss Tornado, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m, you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which, I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off. And did you see Miss Meal there at that time? No. So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m? Oh, well, that's helpful. Thanks. Miss Cammy Meal. Huh? The bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know. Do you take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth. Cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? We just did that, but you just repeated the same useless statement. Okay, reason for suspicion. Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But you'd think then maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too? She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard and the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. Please, leave Miss Tornado out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now. I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda. Don't be weird. Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. Oh my god, it just went right over his head. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kinda like... I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design. Oh, wow. So Edgeworth calling her suitcase hideous completely erased any crush she had on him. Now's not the time for this sort of talk. Okay. So, I don't think there's anything that we can really get out of this statement. It's just an opener, I suppose. We'll come back to it if we have to. You think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too? Let's try pressing this statement. This seems like, you know, she talks about the key card. And the key card's the thing that it's the last sort of question mark, isn't it? Where is it? Who stole it?
Hold it!
And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal? I take care of the attendance room. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because it had like signs in there that have like... I saw a sign in there that said Please keep our room tidy. And her bunk was a mess. So I think that's a lie. That doesn't count. Oh, but I spend so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages. So she assists passengers who may not speak English. Especially those who speak Borginian. She is the only one on this flight who is fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what am I in charge of? Why didn't you say so in the first place? What else could I have meant? Yeah, so I'm really good at Borginian. She's fluent in Borginian. Then I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Borginian. Or, uh-oh. Is she the one falsifying the certification? Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Borginian. Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting is right. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. All I'm in charge of are the attendant report and Borginian. So should we press her on this or should we just present? I'm risking it. I'm going to present that to her.
Objection!
Yeah. She shot herself in the foot there. So, you are the only one in this flight crew that speaks Borginian. Is that correct? Oh. Yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Borginia for a while. If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borginian is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Aleph Red could not have occurred. Oh, she doesn't even care. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you. Uh-oh. What is that? Why is she blowing bubbles? What? It's supposed to be like a stand-in for a cigarette or something? Yeah, anyway. Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, we've broken her facade now. This is the real her. It is exactly as you say. Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. She's got pupils now and eyeshine, look. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There is no direct correlation, after all. Yeah, it's all an act. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. Really? All you did was sign it. I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So, sorry about that. It seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough flight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that.
Objection!
If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring. And just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? What is she menacingly blowing bubbles towards him for? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now it's Miss Tornado who's under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all of the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicions. This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Tornado from the very beginning. Okay, it's either this piggy bank, which was in Tornado's designated sort of area, right, the gift shop, or it's this. The suitcase that she designed and she clearly loves, she's really proud of. I think it's going to be this. I'm going to go with this.
Take that!
The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? Uh-oh. The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Tornado for the murder. Miss Tornado buys a suitcase on every flight she works, without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavour, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? Well, no one willingly, does a murder and says, yep, it was me. Lock me up. That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstances dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? Ooh. I think it's either going to be where the murder took place, i.e. next to the smuggled cargo, or who the murder victim was, as in he's an Interpol agent. They're not going to let that go, are they? I'm going to go with that. That makes most sense to me. But, I might be wrong. The killer was at a loss of what to do with Agent Hicks's body. But, as it just so happened, there were a bunch of empty suitcases nearby. Being a skinny man, the killer thought to put his body in the suitcase and hand it off. You mean that the whole plan to frame someone was an elaborate coincidence? No, that's not what I said. You've wrongly deduced my meaning, Miss Meal. The one with the wrong deductions is you. Think before you speak again. Okay, I was wrong. Patience, Franziska. Was about to reveal the truth. Okay, whoopsie. I think it's where the murder took place. I think I'm probably wrong again, because the music hasn't changed and stuff. Although the health bar disappeared. Well, let's find out. The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age. So, no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Tornado or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tornado or myself, but you, Miss Cammy Meal. Only you and you alone could be the killer. And... Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. Ugh, can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture. His phone? I was wondering about that myself. His phone is just gone. It should be on the end of his lanyard, but it's gone. Let's try that.
Take that!
I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. That's because it went missing, and still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on, and that is the victim's cell phone. Franziska, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks's cell phone. Or at least, that's what you told me. That's right. But Agent Hicks's cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Haha, come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Franziska, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Call it. Agent Hicks's phone is ringing from somewhere, sir. I hear it, Detective. Now, where is it coming from? And here? Okay, we're determined that the real crime scene is here. All that's left is to catch the killer. Alright, it's not there. Is it going to be, like, louder depending on where it is, or...? Do I need to leave here? Oh, it's in here. Yeah, it's louder. I bet it's in her locker. The ringing's coming from somewhere in here, sir. Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. The ringing is coming from somewhere around here. But it's not here, sir. Why do I have such a bad feeling about where we're going to find the phone? Oh no, she planted it in her locker. The ringing's coming from in here, sir. What? No, it can't be. This has got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose locker is this, sir? It's Miss Tornado's. What? Yeah, uh-oh. It's clearly a setup, though. Why would she hide the killer's... why would she hide the victim's phone in her own locker? So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did it go? Where did you find the phone? I found it in the flight attendant's room, in Miss Tornado's locker. What? But... Rhoda Tornado? I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Ms. Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda Tornado right away.
Objection!
Why does she hate her so much? Wait, I have a theory. This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed the cell phone in Miss Tornado's locker at the same time. Well, they can't have, though, because you need the keycard to get into the cargo hold in the first place.
Objection!
This is related to the keycard, all right. In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. Ugh. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bird we cannot ignore. should I do? Franziska's right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. Alright then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? Must have something very incriminating on or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Miles Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. Ooh, let's examine. Yeah, cracked screen. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call with this. Open it. This must be the switch that opens the phone. Oh wow, fancy. When did they start putting keyboards like this into cell phones? Hey, this is one of those computer cell phones that they started selling recently. Computer cell phones? Yeah, it's got a computer in it and it's a cell phone. Neat, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? All you need in a phone is the phone part, nothing more. I'm guessing yours can't even send out email. Talk about inconvenient. Do you have a problem with what I do and do not care for, Detective? No, sir. As they say, simple is best. Okay, let's try the camera. It's a camera lens. Come to think of it. I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Franziska, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures? Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar model to my own. And mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some photos with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case? If so, I'd say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. Ugh. I'll find a way, don't you worry about that. May I go back to sleep now?
Objection!
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data. What? What do you mean by that, Franziska? It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still there inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Ooh, she didn't think of that. Franziska, your phone, if you please. Very well. It's transferring. All right, displaying it now. Ooh, yes, look, it's empty. This is... Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for his smuggling case. Hey, the Aleph reads nowhere in this pic, sir. But this has no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right? Ouch, she's right. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks's killer, sir. Is this it? Is this the end? No, you've got me. It's going to be fine. We've got loads of health left. We can afford a few mistakes anyway. Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use? Could it be that, could it be the suitcases down here maybe? Because this one that I've got my cursor on should be missing, right? The fact that all the suitcases are here in this photo is odd. Agent Hicks was still alive at the time. So what exactly is so odd about suitcases that haven't been used yet being there? Yes, well, I was only pointing things out that are different between now and then. Your off-topic ramblings have put this attendant to sleep again, Miss Miles Edgeworth. I'll give Sleepyhead here a rude awakening, a deafening objection, and a contradiction. Maybe it's this? Boxes of bed sheets. These are still in the cargo hold though. There's nothing unusual about them in particular. But I can't shake the feeling. If you're just playing around, mind if I go home? Yes, I mind. What exactly is different between then and now? What's all this? Oh, yeah. That should have jumped right out at me. Sorry. What's all this? Oh, this guy? Why is he here? Oh, they are cargo shipped from Borginia to Zhengfa. So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zhengfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there's no English written on them anywhere. One cluster of boxes is written in Borginian. It says... It is cloth in English. Cloth? Could it be? Is this where the killer... What? What for is that scary face? Miss Meal? Yeah? It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will point out who his killer is. Ha! Maybe you shouldn't force your mistaken reading of a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth. Borginian cargo and this piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer. Is it this? Must be. It's the cloth, right?
Take that!
And what is that supposed to prove? The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilt. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer in this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zhengfa had cloth written on it. In Borginian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from to clean up the blood with. Oh, because she's the only one who speaks Borginian, right? If you didn't speak Borginian, if you couldn't read it, you wouldn't know it was in there, and you'd probably go for the bed sheets to clean up the blood, right? I would. That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Borginian. Yeah, great minds think alike, eh, Edgeworth? And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Cammy Meal. That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Borginian. Oh, is that a confession?
Objection!
Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature. What? There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. And if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Borginian, well then. Yeah, it's like what I've just said, right? The boxes of bed sheets, that's something that you can use to clean up a spillage. Hey, it says bed sheets in English right on the box, sir. Precisely, and bed sheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say? So, what are you trying to say? That if I were the criminal, this box of bed sheets would have been what I would have spotted first. However, the killer chose to use some Borginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that? The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold. So they were afraid to leave signs that the box for the sheets had been opened. However, the Borginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different colour. Because the killer knew that it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zhengfa? That's right. That is why the Borginian cloth was used. And the only Borginian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Cammy Meal. You and you alone. It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we would have to do is contact the Zhengfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. So, what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Zhengfa? It's always funny watching them break apart. He was Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. Uh-oh, she pushed him. He didn't even fall. I... We finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir. Very good, Detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that? They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind this whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. Mr. Edgeworth, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much. It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation. But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that... Well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation. Oh. Wow, thanks. You shouldn't have. That's... I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. No. I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer. Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. It's probably, for that price, it's got to be good quality, right? You can put stickers on it, Edgeworth, it's fine. And remember, we here at Hugo Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Now, I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue, no matter where you go. Oh, she was nice in the end, wasn't she? I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir, but boy, was it fun. Speak for yourself. My day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where's Franziska? Oh, she's filling out some customs paperwork for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma's always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case. Detective, can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier? You got it, sir. Oh, why? Is he going to go speak to Von Karma? Franziska. I thought I told you when you first landed. I have no time for idle chatter. I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met. I also have no time for such familiar reminiscences. Just who do you think I am? You're Franziska von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect. Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you. A dancing Pierrot. Pierrot? It's French for clown, right? Living her life on the name and fame her invincible father built. True, your father, Manfred von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. Wow. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible. What are you talking about? group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture. Sounds like a dangerous assignment. You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself. Yes, I suppose you can. Plus, there is another agent on this case with me. Oh, another agent? He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows? You may even run into him one day. Yeah, probably in case 3 or 4. I was simply caught up in this one case. Hardly see why we would cross paths. I suppose. But I doubt he would say the same. I'm not following you. You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back. In full. Pay you back? What? Didn't he help you? And just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness. I can finally rest easy knowing I won't have to watch out for her whip. Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation. Oh, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again, ho-ho. I think I'm going to celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight. Ew. Oh, just how much did you cut his salary by, Franziska? Edgeworth, take him out for a nice dinner to say thank you. Treat him to a beer. Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office? Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in the patrol car if you want. Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Franziska von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Edgeworth speaking. Ah, finally. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are? Ah, have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Mr. Amano? Ernest Amano, correct? Ah, so you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. Oh, another one? My son. He's been kidnapped. And that is our next case, by the sounds of it. Right, okay, that's episode 2, Turnabout Airlines, completed. That last part was quite short, but we rounded it off. There's quite a lot happening in the end there. So it's a nice ending to this second episode. Interesting sound to the next one is a kidnapping this time, rather than we've had 2 murders in a row, haven't we? So this one, maybe it's going to be a bit more tense because we're actually trying to find somebody before they get hurt or killed themselves. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking through this video to the end, especially if you've been watching from video number 1. I really appreciate the support. Don't forget to give the video a like if you enjoyed it and maybe subscribe at the same time. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.